First things first, before I get to the topic of the video here, is one of the main reasons why I've been so limited on social media is because my wife was pregnant and we had another baby. I don't think I've mentioned it here in a video. I've posted in like bulletins and stuff and on Twitter and whatnot. So for those of you who don't know, we have had another baby here. It is a boy. The men rule this house. Don't let my wife hear that. So yeah, anyways, it's great. I love having the baby back in the house. It's bringing up all the memories of raising our son. Um, and anyways, yeah, it's great. And it's also very limiting on time. So don't expect me to give you a full docket of videos anytime in the near future. That being said, today's video though is something I want to talk about. It's a topic about something that I've always said one of the most enjoyable forms of entertainment to me is professional wrestling when it's done right. And I was a huge fan of pro wrestling and haven't been in so much in the recent years, mainly because WWE has burnt down what I've seen as the house of great pro wrestling and turned it into just a complete mess of politics, of just, you know, I don't even want to dump on WWE and the former WWF and what place they still have in the greatness of entertainment that is still in my heart, that I look fondly upon. But to AEW, which is this company that's rising out of the ashes, if you will, of a burnt down wrestling industry, which I know you're gonna be like, well, how, the industry's going really bad. WWE is making billions of dollars. Like, yeah, they found a way, and good on them, to make a buttload of money. But as far as fandom and appreciation, it isn't there like it used to be. And AEW feels like they are coming in and capitalizing on, at least partly, the disgruntled WWE or just wrestling in general fan base that wants something that just feels like it's going to be done right. And I've loved what AEW has done so far. And that's not saying that everything they've done is just, whoa, scream from the top of the mountains. They're perfect with everything they do. Tony Khan, oh my gosh, Jesus Christ came down and in the body of Tony Khan. Like, I'm not going to say stuff like that. But it just feels like they are in an opportunity, a moment in time here where, boy, they could really become a very big deal if they don't screw this up. And I will go on to say that if AEW screws up this opportunity they have, and what I'm getting at is bringing in CM Punk, bringing in Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whatever he's going to go by, bringing those guys in on top of getting another show on Friday night, on top of having a fan base that is just buying up tickets left and right to see their shows, and all this momentum going through the summer. If they squander this and it gets to be around wintertime and it's just like, they're just another promotion, it's nothing special. Like, by year's end, this company better be on fire more than it is, and it better be the thing in wrestling, because they have the chance to be. And it's not saying like they're going to put WWE out of business. Like, WWE has so much money and resources that you got to be kidding yourself. AEW could catch on fire, double WWE in the ratings, and WWE will still be just fine for many years to come. But the thing is I will go on record and say that if AEW squanders this opportunity and they go to year's end and it's just like, they're here. They're just like TNA. They're here. They're nothing that special. WWE is still the NFL, for lack of a better term. This will go down as one of the most absolutely disappointing things in the wrestling industry, more than the failed WCW merger with WWE. Just more than anything that is seen as just like, dropping the ball, because WWE, and that's the thing, like, people like point to like how WWE keeps losing millions of fans, like, throughout the years. Like I think one of the greatest losses for WWE is when Nitro went off the air and those millions of people just said, we're just done watching wrestling. Like, we're not even going to give WWE. Oh, sorry, something just went in my eye. I just cut the grass outside, so there's grass and dirt and whatnot. Anyway, there's millions of people who just stopped watching wrestling. They just said, okay, we saw the final WCW Nitro. We're not going to watch Raw next week. And that's what happened. Some did, but the far majority didn't. And it's like, that is one of the most just cataclysmic moments. And people want to say, like, yeah, but they got WCW for such a steal. They got pennies on the dollar for it. They used all their footage out of, for archive purposes and making DVDs and specials on their network and whatnot for years to come. But man, if they could have just captivated the audience and got millions of more people into the WWE fold, and people like, WCW went out of business and they lost millions upon millions of dollars every month up until they went out of business. But the thing is they still had millions of fans. And those fans just said, we're done. We'd rather give up than give WWE a chance. And the reason why I'm saying like that is one of the most cataclysmic moments in WWE's future. And it's not to say that WWE didn't prosper after that, because obviously they did. But if they had those fans on board, I mean, it'd be hard to say that AEW probably wouldn't even try to exist, or any other one person try to come into existence, because they would be just such a juggernaut that it gets to be an NFL thing. And it's like an XFL comes along and it's like, why are you trying? But the point being here is, there is still that disgruntled audience out there, like people like me, that gave up watching WWE years ago because of the Saudi Arabia deal, because of how they just treat their audience like they're complete morons. When they're booing someone who's a face and still push that guy as a face, not listen to the audience for as trivial as little things like that are, to just say to the audience, like, no, we're gonna mute you. We're going to hit the mute button during a live pay-per-view because we want you at home to be force-fed what we think you should. Like, just little things like that. And just like, I'm done. And AEW comes along and it's like, they're doing this right. And my God, they're getting CM Punk out of retirement from 7 years. Daniel Bryan is in a premier feud in this WrestleMania, and he doesn't even want to stay with the company. He'd rather go to AEW because they're going to give him a chance to work in Japan as well. The AEW isn't going to say, like, you can do Twitch, but guess what? We got to get the profits from that. Social media, we control your social media. Any money you make on social media, we get a cut of that. Like, that they're going to be this big, controlling, just gluttonous slob of a company. And to see so many people jumping ship, go into an upstart company that's barely over 2 years old, and being main event talent that don't want to work in the quote unquote NFL of this specific form of entertainment. That's why AEW has such a prime opportunity, because if guys like CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to refer to him as, if they take off and you're seeing the main event pay-per-views, even on just a limited basis, would it be that ridiculous to say someone like Brock Lesnar would show up at AEW? Right now, I think it's completely ridiculous, but money talks. And getting eyes on your product talks as well. And honestly, that's what Bill Goldberg. Well, that's what Bill Goldberg cares about too. But that's what Brock Lesnar cares about just as much. And and that's the thing. It's like, I don't want AEW to become this company that is just reliant on getting the biggest names from the competition. Because I love seeing Jungle Boy out there. I love seeing Darby Allin become a star out there. Hangman Page, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. I love seeing them, and I want the company of AEW to focus around guys like that. But then again, don't turn your back on a chance to get Bryan Danielson or CM Punk. Someone like that's going to steal headlines and put butts in the seats. But it's like guys like a Christian Cage. It's like, I've already seen you at your best. I don't need to see you here now. Big Show, what are you doing? Mark Henry, great. I mean, And I know people could be like, well, Archfiend, they're giving mine and insight to the behind the scene things, just like JR, I'm sure, is being used behind the scenes more than his subpar commentary standards as of late. Like, I get all that, but it's like, man, don't try and win over WWE fans. Win over new fans and disgruntled fans. Don't try and bring in Andrade in because you think you're going to be like, oh, we're going to get that NXT crowd to come over because he's a big NXT, was a big NXT thing and stuff like that. It's like, work on your guys, because right now they have a very clogged roster. They are getting another show that's going to help things, obviously, but I don't want it to be just the anti WWE company that looks like it's like, hey, we're half and half our guys, half the WWE guys, and that's what we look to be. Because, man, I hope that CM Punk doesn't come in to be like this, I'm gonna cut my pipe bomb on Vince McMahon and WWE, and I hope that's like not what his debut ends up being. I hope, honestly, when CM Punk shows up, I hope he doesn't mention WWE or Vince McMahon or Triple H or any of them. I hope he doesn't mention them one single time. So anyways, AEW, become your own thing. You're on your way to doing that, and you're doing a good job. Keep doing that. Anyways, there's hope for the wrestling future, and those WWE marks out there that just want WWE fail. Because honestly, I was a WWF mark back in the day that wanted WCW. I mean AEW. If you just want AEW to fail, I was one of those marks back in the past that wanted WCW to fail, and that was probably the worst thing for the wrestling industry. Because competition and having a legit competitor, not like a TNA or just anything else that's kind of lurking behind the scenes, a legit competitor like somebody AEW is looking out to be, that's looking to be like on the level of what a WCW was, that's the best thing for the industry. That's the thing. I will never tell you I want to see WWE to go out of business. I want to see Vince McMahon not in charge of the business anymore, but I want WWE to keep going on strong. Because again, having two rival competitors, two big steam engines in the same industry, it's like, like having rival movie companies. Like that's great for the industry. If everything was just, I don't know, MGM, just say, like, you'd be doing the services of whatever the executives of MGM wanted for the movie industry, and that would suck. Having a Sony out there, having just any other movie maker out there, it just makes the industry better. And you could correlate that to anything across the board, especially in entertainment. Having big, strong rivals makes the business better. Like, McDonald's ain't the only one out there putting out hamburgers, and there's a lot of people that are grateful because of that. Anyways, AEW, keep doing your thing. I am just in love with what they are doing right now, because again, it looks like they're doing it right, but man, they have an opportunity to transcend beyond like what I thought they would ever become, and many other people like myself. They better not mess this up. That is all.